This is a presentation given on the biblical dyeing of the Techelet by Rabbi Stephen Roth of the Techelet organization. It was in Sha'arei Torah Synagogue, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, January 15th, 2012.
If you want to be Mekayim in the middle, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add the crushed, the dried and crushed chilazon, dama chilazon. What we do is we let it dry and then we crush it to make it into a powder, into a chemical, into a dye. If anybody wants to take a whiff, okay. One of the things that they discovered was that all the dye houses that produced Techelet were open air. Okay, for two reasons. A, they needed the sunlight to produce it, and B, if you take a whiff of just this small vial, okay, imagine walking through the Fulton Fish Market, okay, 10 times worse. Okay, I just opened this vial. I've never done this before, by the way. Not in this manner, though I've dyed Techelet in Israel through the whole process. This, let me tell you, will kill you. So we're going to pour the dama chilazon in the vial. We're then going to add caustic soda. This is needed to dissolve the meat and what other foreign substances there are in the dye stuff itself. Again, caustic soda was known in ancient times as well, so this is not anything new. This is what was known then. Okay, we're going to add, I hope the water's hot enough, yeah. Okay. I'm going to add water. And we're going to stir. I hope nobody needs these spoons sometime in the future. We're now going to add some more water. And, whoops, get this in here. This is nasty. The first time I actually dyed Techelet was in my brother-in-law's backyard when we were just beginning the whole process. And we basically jimmy-rigged a coffee urn with hot boiling water, which this is. And we did it in the backyard. And even in the backyard, let me tell you, it was nasty. So I understand why they did it in open-air dye houses. Okay, this is... let it sit for a couple of minutes. As you can see, I don't know if you can see it or not, the liquid is starting to turn a yellowish up here. That's called the Leuco stage of indigo, which is a... Is that a little more water? Okay. The color will become less blue. Here we go. It's turning yellow. Can you see it as being yellow as opposed to the blue? This is called the Leuco stage. Now we're going to add a reducing agent called sodium thiothionate, which basically, this is what we use as a substitute for the fermentation process. This allows the dye stuff to adhere to the wool. So I'm going to add that. Okay. Oh yeah, look at it go. I'm going to stir it a little more. And now this is also affecting the caustic acid, which is now eliminating all the other garbage that was in the initial dye of the chilazon. Okay, we're now going to add the last chemical. Gotcha. Okay, the last chemical is it brings down the pH factor of the solution. pH factor in any dyeing process is very important because that basically stabilizes the color. I know for several years we were dyeing fabric down in Mexico, and I used to spend many, many weeks in Mexico City at dye houses. And the problem is that the pH factor in the water in Mexico, which they tell you don't drink the water, that also affects the dyeability of goods, because the pH factor in the water, which basically is controlled by the various garbage in the water and the sewage system goes right into the water in Mexico, okay, which is why you don't drink the water in Mexico, and that affects the pH factor. So this stabilizes the pH factor of the chemicals, of the dye stuff. Okay, somebody would like to just take this glass, take this glass outside. We'll leave it outside for about 5 minutes. Yeah, if we can take this outside, leave it outside for about 5 minutes, and then we'll bring it back in and we'll put the wool into it, and hopefully we'll see the wool start out as a purple color. Even though that solution is yellow, okay, the dye, when you put the wool into it, the dye will begin as a purple color, and then will change to blue. One of the things that I, as a dyer, noticed the first time I dyed Techelet, or I dyed blue wool, was that normally when we dye colors, after the color is set and we do a washdown process, the washdown process will lighten the color. It will take off whatever excess dye stuff there is on the fabric itself, on the yarn itself, and the color will come down. What I noticed when dyeing Techelet was the more I washed it down, the brighter the color became. Which again, the Gemara tells us this is one of the simonim of Techelet, that the Techelet gets brighter as you wash it down. If we were dyeing Techelet, the shape Techelet for the mitzvah of tzitzis, we would now say Zuma Techelet, or that the kavana is to dye the wool for Techelet. So I'm going to put this in here. This is the wool, and we're going to let it sit for a couple of minutes as we continue to talk, and it should start turning color in a couple of minutes. Yes?
Why is the light considered endangered?
What is it? Don't know. Don't know. Can't tell you. Other than they consider it an endangered species, and they, you know. Guess what, guys? We have blue. Okay, again, this is done, you know, not perfectly the way we do it, but as you can see, the color is blue. And let's see if I can wash this down at all. Yeah, there we go. And this, if you look at it, will match the color of the tzitzis that I have on my talis, and Rabbi Masson has on his. Let me see if I can do a little bit of a wash down here, see if that helps.
Make it lighter.
Huh?
Make it get lighter.
That's what we're going to see. Now this is water. And it's hot. I can see the color is actually getting bluer and deeper. So we have achieved gold. Okay, so if this was, and what we then do is we then would spin this into the strings. So you got to think, you know, you got to look at history. I'm a historian also. Yeah, I look at history and not, you know, without blinders on. And say, yeah, the Gemara says this, but how true is it?
Yeah, most people aren't willing to look at the Gemara that way.
You got to look at it as